never make it easy, guys. It's never easy. But they still got the win. Welcome in to the Winners Lounge.
Yeah, boy.
Not the Losers Lounge. Not the Losers Lounge.
It's not a Losers Lounge, which means, all in all, it's an okay night. It's an okay
Let's
night.
go. For OKC.
Yes, an okay night in OKC.
Let's go.
Welcome in, guys. We are presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Of course, when you download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use code DNVR when you sign up. Harrison Wind alongside Brendan Vogt.
How do you guys feel about third quarters?
Ban them forever.
You'd think it'd be under their control, but a dub's a dub.
Also joined by Eric Weedham.
Dude, a name so powerful it's hard to say.
Couldn't even get it out.
When I look over and you have a look up in your face of pure disgust. Even though I know you're choking, it still feels personal.
Also joined by superstar Dev Johnson.
I mean, we're not in a loser's lounge, so this is a big win. You know, because that was like really, really close to being a loss, and that would have been a horrible loss.
Do you want to talk about your night right off the bat? Because we did get a MUNDER tonight.
MUNDER was like the first thing that we called out on the night.
That was a bet we made pregame, and an obvious bet, I think.
And it was up and downs in the game. Like it looked like at the half, it looked like it was like going to be good. Then that third quarter came around, and I was like, I don't know if they're going to do that. But then the Nuggets close them out. The defense steps up at the end of the third quarter and goes into the fourth quarter and takes them home.
It did take them home. Nuggets get the win 99-95. I tweeted that this was a pitiful effort. This was an awful effort, I thought, by Denver outside of like the first 5 minutes of this game where they looked really, really good. But the Nuggets do get the win. They're above 500. Things are okay. I want to start with the man of the night, an unlikely hero, one of the unlikeliest heroes that we've had this season. Austin Rivers comes off the bench to score 22 points. He's our DraftKings Sportsbook king of the game, which we'll get to in a second here. 8 of 13 from the field, 6 of 9 from 3, 5 rebounds, 3 steals, only 2 turnovers, 1 assist. Do the Nuggets win this game without Austin Rivers, Brendan?
Well, not a chance. Yeah, that's not up for debate. Really interesting to see Rivers go back to the bench. I know he closed this game, but back to the bench and play well again, where he actually has been consistently good for a while. The experiment with the starters went up and down. Yeah. Offensively, it was a disaster. But he goes back to the bench, hits some big shots, and then we do get to see that perimeter defense on SGA tonight, where, look, there were some moments he got blown by. SGA's a good player. That's going to happen. All in all, he did a good job. So they don't win this game without Austin Rivers, who may have circled this game, fellas. I mean, I know it's been a minute, but March 28th, 2021, the Knicks trade him to the Thunder, and the Oklahoma City Thunder said, we don't need that. The Thunder, and I don't know, man. I mean, Austin Rivers, he's navigated a lot in terms of getting back into the league.
Yeah.
But I wonder if that was in the back of his mind tonight as he buried some threes.
Yeah, maybe it was. Thoughts on Austin Rivers' night, Dev?
The Nuggets absolutely do not win that game without Austin Rivers, and that was one of those games where I say, you know what, Malone might be smarter than I am. Because I was looking late in that game, and I'm like, why is Austin Rivers and Facu still in the game, like at this like point of the game? And then you go and look at the box score, and you see Austin Rivers made shots all game, but he's also played excellent defense. He's played really good defense. He came out with 3 steals. He had big shots. On the first time that he wanted the shot, it wasn't like a lot of jab steps and the pump fakes that you typically see. Like, he made up his mind, and when he does that, he's really, really good. So for Austin Rivers to do what he did on both sides of the floor and also just bring a lot of energy to the game and then close out, that was a big game for him.
Yeah, it's like, you know why Austin Rivers was on the floor. We can talk about why Facu was still on the floor late. I think that one has a little bit of a question mark next to it.
Even for me.
We'll get into that. But Austin Rivers, obviously, because he's shooting. He went 6 of 9 from 3 tonight. The Nuggets, as a team, went 13 of 36. So Austin Rivers pretty much had half of the Nuggets' 3-point makes tonight.
Dude, Austin Rivers is so confusing. Is he not? Like, sometimes you get this Austin Rivers, you're like, oh, yeah. Man.
I actually think he's not confusing at all, but I do kind of see your point, though.
But it's just, like, you get this or you get nothing.
Yeah.
You get less than nothing. You get like an absolute negative on the squad. But then you have not. Tonight he was great. I was so beside myself when he was in the game late, and then he made really critical shots. He was the only one scoring. I don't understand it. But maybe Dev is right. Maybe Michael Malone is smarter than me.
Well, I mean, who else could the Nuggets have really turned to? Like Davon Reed.
My thought was that why are they not rolling with the starting lineup that was dominating at the beginning of the game? Why wouldn't you then also close with that? Moot point, doesn't matter.
Sure, whatever,
win.
throw it out.
Nuggets win. Austin Rivers, confounding, but also sublime.
It was also his defense too, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Malone. If Rivers is going to play well on an opposing star player, Malone will ride him. And so I think he's a player who has gone through maybe identity crisis is strong, Eric, but figuring out who he is in the league has sort of been an adventure. He's like a little more talented than the roles he's ended up slotting in, but not quite consistent. And so it's been a thing that he's had to navigate. So again, off the bench in Denver, I've liked it this year. I do think he figured it out after that vague injury he kind of alluded to. But he's just a player that the consistency probably won't be there. Yeah,
it comes down to consistency, really. You're not expecting him to go 6 of 9, no. From the 3-point line. You don't expect that. You don't expect him to just knock down every single shot that he takes in the game. But you just want him to do something. You want him to get going in some type of way and also continue to be an irritant on the defensive end. Continue to change things for the opponents. Like you're not having to rely on Aaron Gordon to go and step in on an SGA because, now you can have him in help side or now you can have him in different ways and you don't want him burnt out. So Austin Rivers defense, that's something that actually has been on the rise, and now his offense is in this game. Offense started to follow. So you have to ride the hot hand. So really, you do have to give credit to Malone because if I was coaching, way on the end of the bench.
I would have gone with 4 players.
Yeah, I mean it's a great night for Austin, and part of me feels good for him because he's talked about a lot that, look, I know I'm coming off the bench now. I know I've been, on the street without a job here within the last 12 months. I know that's my reality right now, but I want to get back to the point I was earlier in my career where, maybe not a starter, but a 20, 25 minute per game guy off the bench like he was for the Clippers all those years and kind of his glory days. And he's really striving to get back to that. He wants that. I don't see that happening in Denver, but nights like tonight prove that he's a guy who can still get hot. And where the Nuggets are right now offensively, they need unlikely heroes, man. They need an Austin Rivers game. They need a Bones Highland game like they kind of got 2 nights ago against Sacramento. They need Jeff Green to have a random game here or there. It's just the spot the Nuggets are in and probably will be in for most of the season. They need these unlikely heroes to step up and deliver. That's what they got tonight.
You'll take it, right? Take it from whoever gives it to you.
Yeah. You guys brought this up, but his defense on SGA was definitely a storyline tonight because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander murdered the Nuggets in that matchup earlier this season. He killed Denver. Tonight, 8 points for SGA, 2 of 14.
2 of 14.
From the field. Rivers was on him a bunch. Aaron Gordon, of course, got the assignment from the opening tip. How impressive, Dev, do you think that Denver's defense was on SGA tonight?
I mean, they actually mundered in this game. And you go off of a game where SGA goes for a triple-double, with 27 points. And then he goes into this game 2 of 14. That's really just like an all-in effort to try to slow them down. This Thunder team already is not that good, but when their best player is, being defended the way that they are and making those adjustments, that's big time. I like the way that they tried to force the worst, 3-point shooting team in the league to shoot the 3 ball. Yeah. A lot of help side defense, a lot of trying to give him different looks besides just letting him go off in ISO situations. And also, we know how good of a passer he is. For them to slow him down and to hold him to only 8 points and, the worst plus minus in the game, that's major. That's actually a bigger win than actually just anything else is the fact that they were able to slow down the opposing team's best player because we have not seen
the
that
type of guard that always kills them too. The De'Aaron Fox of the world, the Ish Smiths of the world, the quick point guard who can get into the lane. Those guys always kill Denver, but they held SGA down tonight.
Some of it too, right? Like SGA just had a bad night. He put some on the rim and left him there that he finishes off.
He missed that easy one late that could have made this a real nail biter.
Yeah, pushed
even
through
more
AG
of a nail biter
and left it on the rim. But I actually think that's because Denver did a good job initially of, like, he had to settle for some threes early. Only takes 3 in the game total, but they made it so hard for him that I think those like final 7 misses were SGA pressing a little bit. I thought palpable, visible frustration from him. So he didn't play well, but you credit the Nuggets for putting it off on the right note.
Yeah. Let's actually pivot to the guy who defended SGA, because I thought this was a really interesting game for Aaron Gordon.
Yeah, man.
For a number of reasons. First off, you got to give him credit for the defensive effort. I mean, holding SGA to 8 points on 2 of 14 shooting, that's a great defensive effort. But offensively, Aaron Gordon was a no-show tonight. He was invisible out there. 2 of 9, 0 of 4 from 3, 4 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. And it's a big storyline to me because the Nuggets went with JaMychal Green in the starting lineup for a second straight game. And that made Aaron Gordon into like a corner shooter tonight. He spent the entire night in the corner. And I didn't like it one bit. I think they'll eventually go back to Jeff Green in the starting lineup, but JaMychal Green playing in the dunker, playing around the rim, it moved Aaron Gordon out to the perimeter. I just didn't like it. I didn't like what it turned Aaron Gordon into. So I hope we don't see this starting lineup long term.
Well, but the starting lineup was really good.
First quarter,
it was.
Third quarter was pretty bad.
Well, that's the third quarter.
Whatever you throw out there in the third quarter,
like, literally does not matter.
Could be the dream team. You'll
doesn't
take an
matter.
L,
Yeah, no, they came out. They were like everyone was plus 16 early. I'm with you. I mean, Aaron Gordon is another guy where you just don't know what you're going to get from him on a night-to-night basis. It seems like it's his skill set should be transferable to any night he just decides that he wants to turn it on. He should just yam it on fools like all the time. He should just go to the rim, which he does so infrequently. Tonight, like you say, J-Mike was filling that role. He was the one that was getting the thunderous dunks at the rim.
And J-Mike played well.
He did. Yes, but like you absolutely do not want Aaron Gordon to be your corner shooter. Nobody's scared of him out there. There's no gravity. Will mess up the spacing. But like, why is he? Is some part of that him?
Well, I just think that Aaron Gordon's so good at getting that mismatch in the post.
Yeah.
And just playing bully ball down there. And when JaMychal Green is around the rim, I just don't think there's naturally that same amount of space.
Yes.
So I think some of it was a byproduct of that. Some of it was just Nuggets didn't really look to go to Gordon. Like, they could have moved JaMychal Green out and let Gordon go to work, but they just didn't.
And some of this is Aaron Gordon, who for a second straight game, like, we have to acknowledge there was the hamstring issue and then the illness, which really seemed to be serious for AG, although he played through it. So to me, it's 2 games in a row where he hasn't looked really super capable of inserting himself for 4 quarters at a time. And like burying yourself in the post on the mismatch is awesome, but that's exhausting, right? And so I think, to me, it looked like a guy who was kind of just floating a bit out there and maybe could do with a game off. Of course, the Nuggets aren't in a position to give anyone a game off. But I thought it was the second straight game where that dynamic was definitely true with the starting lineup. You're right about that. But it's also, some of it was like, all right, Gordon, put the ball on the floor and drive, right? Hustle in transition to get yourself a cross match and find yourself in the post. So I do think I'm watching his kind of energy level right now because it's waning a bit.
I think that you bring up like the best point about it, Harrison, with the fact that putting in JaMychal Green now puts a lot of other guys at different spots that they're not typically at. Aaron Gordon, for instance, he's a guy that he creates that mismatch and he gets an undersized guy on him down there, and you would expect him to do it against a wing, but now you would have bad spacing. You would have, Nikola Jokic as the center. You would have JaMychal Green now on the perimeter. No one's going to actually bite on that. So now you got like a lot of help side defense, and it puts everyone else at a disadvantaged spot. And then you have Aaron Gordon just sitting there shooting threes. So now when you think about those shifts now are they playing out a position where they don't know what they're supposed to do on the floor? So like Aaron Gordon's been a forward the entire time. Does he know how to run plays as the 3? Does JaMychal Green know how to run plays? Not at the big man spot, because that's what he's been doing a lot of the time. So I think that now they're just improvising a lot of the times. Aaron Gordon's not a creative type of scorer. his strength, his athleticism, and now you're putting him at a spot at the 3 where you have to be a creative scorer, you have to be a playmaker. So I think that guys just know how to defend that, and it just puts him at a disadvantage himself. It's not his strength. So I think it's just like him trying to figure out ways to like be effective on offense, and now his 3-point shot is not falling, so it makes it tough. So I think it's just questions to be asked.
Yeah. We'll see what happens with the starting lineup. I like Jeff Green in there. We'll see how it goes going forward, but maybe Gordon just didn't have the fire tonight. He has been sick recently. Non-COVID illness. Let me just get that out there.
Yeah.
But he played sick against Utah, and I could tell during that game he just did not have it, even though he played a pretty good game. And then didn't seem like he really had it the other night against Sacramento. Yeah. So maybe he's still getting over that. I don't know, but just didn't look himself tonight. Jeff Green looked really good off the bench. 16 points in 22 minutes, 6 of 10 from the field. Hit a 3, got to the line 5 times. Jeff Green, the most athletic 35-year-old on the planet. Almost had another poster dunk tonight. Couldn't get it to convert.
Barton threw an audacious alley-oop attempt to his 35-year-old teammate.
It was
like, F it.
Yeah, it was irresponsible.
Yeah. And Jeff went for it.
And he really should have converted it.
Yeah, it was almost gnarly.
Yeah. Do we have any other thoughts on Jeff Green?
Jeff
tonight?
Green looked great, man. He just like that's what you're saying. Like, I mean, sometimes it's good to put a better player on the bench because it can help the bench look better. Although the bench looked terrible, so I don't even. Jeff Green himself just looks springy. We got a couple of those like pick and roll plays with Facu, which we all love so much.
But not enough for me.
No, it's never enough for you, I would say. But we'd like to see more. I mean, we would like to see more. Like that has shown itself to be a dominant pairing. Those two.
That's how we got 2 of the poster dunks against Sacramento off that.
Yeah. So it is cool and heartening to see that. So from that standpoint, I don't know. I mean, I kind of like him playing on the bench more often. Like, I'm not anxious for him to get back into the starting unit, even if I would rather that Aaron Gordon just kind of figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I like him with the backup units. Like, he can score the basketball, and that second unit needs a score badly right now, especially with Bones Highland not being the scorer. So having a guy that can get himself going, having a guy that can get out in the break and figure it out from that standpoint. Like with the starters, he just works well because he knows how to blend in. With the second unit, he's the creator, which he's looked really good as. So I'm with Eric. I think that there's no rush to put him back with the starters as of right now because he does answer something that the Nuggets desperately need. And there's a reason that the bench unit is just not getting destroyed every single time. They're not scoring a lot, but he gives them the ability to put some points up. So I think it was okay. It was not a bad game, and he has 16 points off the bench.
Yeah. I wonder if we'll see DeMarcus Cousins as the roller on the second unit maybe later this week. Stay tuned.
I really didn't think they did it enough tonight. I mean, obviously Jeff Green himself played very well, had a very good game.
Yeah.
But there were several moments where that bench unit was mired down, right? Just nothing.
Oh, God.
Just shooting threes.
The worst.
Slow-mo through the muck. And we saw like 2 center floor pick and rolls between Facu and Jeff.
Yeah.
And I just kind of felt like, I do that. Like, do that over and over again, before you give the ball to Bones right now, tonight, with the way he was playing. Yeah. So I would like to see more of it. But Wind is right to circle that dynamic with JaMychal and AG. Something to keep our eyes on for sure.
Yeah, maybe they can figure it out. We'll see. Let's hit Nikola Jokic's night real quick here. 22 points, 18 rebounds, 6 assists. But, guys, he goes 8 of 21 from the floor. 38%. It's his worst field goal percentage night statistically of the season.
Really?
Yeah. 8 of 21.
He didn't. Man, in my memory, I don't remember him missing a bunch of shots, but I guess he did. So it's kind of hard to argue with those numbers.
Well, he had a lot of he had 8 offensive rebounds tonight. So there were some Yoke misses, tips it back to himself, puts it back in.
Yep.
So consecutives there. Yeah.
He had 18 rebounds, like I said, 8 offensive rebounds. According to the box score.
Yeah, so if you look at this box score, you see 22 points, 18 rebounds, and 6 assists. You're going to say Jokic is still destroying everybody. But this was a game. If you the guys that watched it, this was not a great Jokic game.
Not
it
at
wasn't.
all.
He was pretty much disengaged for the entire time.
Definitely.
Not really into it, making a lot of wild passes that
first
he really
quarter.
didn't care. He was just throwing the ball away. I don't feel like at any point was he in takeover mode.
Yeah.
He just kind of, I'm better than you guys, so it's gonna work out. But
He's right.
that was not a great Jokic game. Also, even on the rebounds, he went into that fourth quarter with about 9 rebounds. The entire time. And then in the very end, he just was like, you know what, I'm just going to grab every
everything.
single board
Also,
that comes.
everyone missed everything.
You guys are going to miss.
Yeah.
I'm going to miss. I'm going to grab the rebound and give give the team another chance. So it wasn't a good Jokic game by any means. For them to squeeze it out and then him to still have a monster game, stat-wise.
So silly.
It just goes to show how good of a player he was, because in the first Jokic first four seasons, when he had a bad night, he had a bad night. This was a bad night and he had 22-18.
Yeah. It was such a weird game, man, because I don't know about you guys. Denver came out tonight in the first quarter, and the first stint from the starters was amazing.
Dude, Harlem
A+.
Globetrotter
It was
stuff.
unbelievable. The ball was popping.
Oh, I was getting the SUMG.
Absolutely. Denver's offense just had this crispness to it that you really haven't seen a ton this season. You saw it, I thought, against Sacramento at times, but everything was so crisp. The ball was moving. Everybody was moving. The ball was popping. They were getting great looks. There was such great pace to everything. And then after the starters exited, you didn't see that again for the entire game.
The entire game.
So weird, man. I don't know what happened. Then the third quarter, they had a tough time getting Jokic the ball again. That's been a theme
So
this season.
obnoxious.
It's so frustrating.
Yeah.
There was one.
Get him the ball.
It's like watching a horror movie. And
It's-
you're like,
oh, God.
don't go into that door. And they just go into the garage.
There was a moment in the fourth where Austin does that cut to the free throw line, right? Where you do when they're fronting your center, because then it's a much easier pass and he's got the angle. And Austin starts to make that cut and then doesn't finish it. And they almost turned it over. They
annoying.
looked so unsure of what to do in that moment. And I agree, not an MVP night from Jokic. 2 plays in the first quarter. There was one where he tried that. We haven't seen this one yet. It was the no-look swing pass to the wing, not the corner, but the wing that he was almost parallel with.
It's a ridiculous pass.
Ridiculous pass. Disrespectfully audacious. Topped only by the disrespectfully apathetic pocket pass he threw to Facu 3 minutes later.
Yeah.
Where I was like, dude, he's not bothered tonight.
I know that the thing. The Nuggets came out so hot and looked so good that Jokic was getting
They don't need me tonight.
let's fuck around and find just whatever. And then it got to the point where oh, we actually need you. He was like, fine.
And
I'll score. Fine, whatever.
I also think it's worth noting, and Wynn just hit this point, Jokic sometimes does that and then redeems himself with
He
these
always
stretches in the third and the fourth. But Denver couldn't get him the ball tonight, so
I know,
he
but
never
they
got
still,
to do that.
There was still a stint where he hit 3 or 4 shots in a row, where we really needed it.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
he was there,
it's
yeah.
still,
He was
it's still-
Jokic,
there's nothing more hilarious than really trying to dissect Jokic's game and be like, well, he wasn't the greatest player to ever strap it on tonight. So
Yeah.
he was merely the greatest player in this game by a long stretch on both.
Consider me unimpressed, good sir. Yeah.
The other weird part about Jokic's night, and we'll hit a break here in a second, but he didn't come back in the fourth until there were 6 minutes and 47 seconds left, and the score was tied at 87. I'm like, Michael Malone, did you forget you had Jokic? Is that a side effect of COVID? You forget you have your best player on your team?
Loss of smell,
Wayne,
loss
careful.
of taste, loss
Edgy
of
joke there
Jokic
from the
awareness.
practical one.
Like, you've got Nikola Jokic at 7 minutes left in the game. The
Me
clock's
too, man.
ticking. Get him in the game.
Yeah, he must have just looked over Yoke, do you want to go? And Yoke's like, let them figure it out, brother.
Brother.
Let them figure it out, because
He's like, brother,
I gotta come. Yeah, then he saw that they weren't figuring out. He was like, okay, I'll come in and
He's
be
like,
me.
I've got a full cup of Gatorade, brother. Let me finish that off first.
Yeah, but yeah, that really was shocking
It was
for him
weird.
to come
Very
in
weird.
so late in the game. But I mean, it worked out. It worked out.
All right. Let's hit a break. We'll get to the rest of the game after
we have
this.
You know what goes down easier than third quarters?
Anything,
The Mile
everything.
High City Copper Lager from Breckenridge
it does.
Brewery. The official beer at DNVR. And that's the official, well, I don't know if it's the official beer of the Denver Nuggets, but it's themed like it. It's blue. It's got the Nuggets logo on there.
Dude, I would say it was the primary cause of me getting pickaxed last night.
Pickaxe.
I woke up
Bro.
being sure that I had been hit with a pickaxe in my face. Anyway, go ahead.
Your life is just like one big branding opportunity.
Yeah, that's so true.
You should see the tattoo I got. I'll show you later.
I
Is
don't
it just
know if I
Wagyu beef? We're not with them anymore. What was I saying? Yeah, Breckenridge Brewery. If you want to call the farmhouse, get either their food or their booze, you can do that. And use code DNVR when you do to save $5. If you want to know where to find Mile High City Copper Lager, try the Breck Beer Locator. Tell it where you live. Tell it what you're looking for. And they'll tell you where to go. They're our friends. Use that code and patronize their business, please. While we're on the topic of businesses that we want you to patronize, Sexy Pizza, guys.
Patronize them.
Oh, but it's not patronize.
What is it? No. You want to
definitely not patronize.
Yeah, patronize is not the word, but you are whatever. So Sexy
No, it's right.
Pizza.
You're right.
You want to be a
patron to
You
them.
want to be a patron.
But being patronizing
I get it.
is all.
You're right, guys.
Everyone's right. All
right, listen.
No apologies required.
Could to patronize be a verb? To patron?
Yeah,
when you're in the process of patroning something?
Yeah,
Eric, 10 seconds or less. How dope was the tailgate?
Dude, the tailgate was the dopest thing I've ever been a part of in my entire life, and it led me into an absolute alcohol-fueled disaster because it was such good vibes.
I see some Sexy Pizza right
I'm about to eat
those
there,
are
10
we have
feet
residual
away from me.
We have two residual things from the
Can I
tailgate that are
eat
both
it?
sexy. That pizza, this guy right here.
Oh, let's
yes,
go.
you can absolutely eat that.
If somebody gave me a slice right now, I'd eat it on the show. I would. I would
But
eat
listen,
it right
now you don't have to come to the tailgate to get a sweet deal on Sexy Pizza right now. Our fans can get 20% off their online orders using promo code SEXYDNVR. One more time, that's promo code SEXYDNVR.
We came up with that promo code. We came up with that.
Hit up Sexy Pizza, tell them we sent you. Try their pies. They're delicious.
All right, and we're back. Welcome back, guys. The DNVR Nuggets post-game lounge presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Use code DNVR when you sign up and download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Nuggets get the win 99-95 over the Oklahoma City Thunder. We'll have Adam Mares Skyping in for the last segment to tell us what Michael Malone said in his first game back and what Nuggets stars of the game had to say after this one.
Who do you think which one of us, when Adam logs on, does he take an unsolicited shot at for no reason?
Me, 100%.
Yeah, probably you.
Yeah. Something about you and drinking. That's
there'll be no hesitation.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
And you've been great tonight, but he doesn't know that, so he's...
Yeah,
he's
but
gonna come right
he's
for
also
it.
not wrong.
Yeah.
Let's go through the rest of the starters here. Monte Morris. The weirdest part about Monte Morris's night, he was a plus 18 in 26 minutes, but he only played 26 minutes.
Yeah.
And Facu Campazzo, who we'll talk about, played 22 minutes. And like I just ended the first segment talking about Jokic and when he came back into the game in the fourth quarter, Monte Morris didn't come back until there were 4 minutes and 26 seconds left in the game. And like I said, it seems like he played okay. He was a plus 18, only played 26 minutes.
The offense got stagnant. There was a lot of turnovers from Facu, in this game. I thought that they was going to go to their, proven guy. I thought they was going to go to someone that they trusted in those situations, not really to, give them, offense or defense or anything like that, but just to slow the guys down and to take care of the ball. So I was actually questioning. I was like, is something wrong with Monte? Because there was a few timeouts that I was like, oh, yeah, he's calling a timeout just to make sure that he gets Monte and Jokic back in the game.
Joke's on you.
And he still didn't do that.
Monte's also the one of the few guys, I should say, that I feel confident being able to get Nikola Jokic the ball.
Yeah, for sure.
If there's one guy who can execute an entry pass, a bounce pass to get Jokic the ball, it's probably Monte Morris.
Yeah, I was just thinking about this. Monte Morris is probably the winner of the MIP for the Denver Nuggets this season, right? He's probably had the biggest...
the internal MIP.
The internal
award.
MIP. He's probably the most improved player for the Denver Nuggets this year, would you think?
I mean, Jokic would be my next.
Well, Jokic was so good.
I know,
he was the literal MVP, but you know what you mean. But I just mean Monte is always
not JaMychal Green,
not JaMychal Green or Austin Rivers, but he's always a guy that you feel good about and that feels reliable. But he's even more so. Now he's taking it up to a level where his 3-point shot is lethal. And before it was it was mid-range Monte. He would any 3-point time or any shot he would shoot from 3 would be short or long or whatever. He just wasn't part of his game. But I don't know. Now
he was 2 of 4 from 3 tonight.
He was great. So just to pile on to what you're saying, to not have him in the most important moments is strange. Like,
Yeah.
I just have 100% trust in him now.
My theory would be defense, and he wasn't great tonight, but that's also not different from any other Monte game. Like, he's just not a great defender, and he does still have the effects that you guys all described on the offense. And given that OKC struggles to score as it is, I would have made that swap. I thought he rode Facu too long tonight into that fourth.
I just wonder if Monte was hurt or something. He did come up limping on one
maybe.
play tonight. I think it was in the first half, maybe. But and then he didn't play well. I mean, the Stars didn't play well to start the third. He played 31 minutes against the Kings 2 nights ago, so I don't think it's a minute restriction thing. I wonder if he just wasn't feeling great.
I also just think that Malone likes to play Facu.
You think?
I
mean,
think that
that's
might just
true.
be it. Like, he's like,
Breaking news.
I think he was just like, let's see, so I could take out Facu, or, and then he had no thought.
I'm gonna call a timeout and get him some rest so we can get back there and play some more.
He's like, yeah, absolutely. The only thought was to make sure that sweet Facu got the rest required.
I mean, to talk about Facu's night, he was awful.
Terrible.
The minus 14, team worst. I thought he actually started out this game pretty well. He had a couple, nice plays in that first stint with the bench just generating turnovers. He got a couple steals, but he finishes the game with 1 point, 0 of 4 from the field, 0 of 3 from 3,
Yo.
8 assists, but 3 turnovers. They all seem like they were pretty costly too. Just not a great night.
Yeah, El Mago, the drunk magician tonight. He was just trying to do way too much. And I
Totally,
thought as
man.
things tightened up in the second half, rather than just try to run an offense, he was like, I will nutmeg 4 people at once.
Right. He had 2 nutmegs that went bad tonight. One bounced right off JaMychal Green's hands. That was a good pass, but Green couldn't handle it. And then one just was a turnover.
And yeah, I see a comment who not really appreciating the Facu criticism. Look, you guys should know by now, I'm the guy that loves him. But I just didn't think it was a great night. And that's okay. I'm not saying yank him from the rotation. He did finish with 8 assists, but his inability to score tonight, and I just thought he got too risky with it. I would have liked to see Monte out there in the fourth.
I don't think there's anyone, even Facu, is going to look at tonight's game and say that it was a good game. Like, you have to criticize those type of things. The thing about Facu's game tonight was you remember the bad plays. Like, they just stand out. The turnovers, like, he's really just forcing passes at this point that makes it difficult. He was passing the ball really well. He's rotating the ball really well. So those things are still there. It's the other things when it comes to Facu. Can he score a basket? He goes 0 for 4 in the game. Can he knock down a 3? He goes 0 from 3 from the three-point line. Then the missed layup was a missed layup, an actual missed layup.
Yeah.
Which is like his limitations is, can he get it over bigger guys? That one he did. He just couldn't make it. So it's never about if he's playing the right way, because I really do think he plays the right way. He's a pass-first point guard that gets everyone else involved. But now it's becoming a little bit scary because he's forcing every single pass. He's nutmegging every opportunity that he can get. And a lot of the times it's to guys who are not like players that can actually see those type of things coming. Jokic makes those type of passes so he can receive those type of passes. Jeff Green, he's not ready for those type of passes. So now it's like, know your personnel, know the other guy that you're going to make that pass to, and see if they're ready. A lot of times guys just aren't ready. So Facu has to slow down at times.
It's also like not every pass has to be some one-handed sidewinder with spin on it and English. And you can just make a basic chest pass from time to time.
Well, listen, as a person that watches games to be entertained, I appreciate the showmanship.
I
of
bet
El
you
Mago.
do.
You have a great game.
Yeah. By the way, that's the same showmanship that gets everyone on their feet in the arena, and we come on here and laud when it goes well.
Yeah.
Just pointing out that it didn't tonight. That's all.
Yeah.
By the way, they won, which I kind of
They did
forgot.
win.
after
Let's
the
go.
last
Let's go.
5
Let's go.
minutes.
Yeah, I mean, there weren't a ton of highlights
No,
from
there
this
were not.
game.
There were not.
I'm going to keep the vibes down by talking about this
Hell yeah.
next guy. But Will Barton tonight, another rough game, I thought.
Yep.
Only 1 turnover. It seemed like he had a couple, but just went 5 of 14 from the field. Here's a stat for you guys on Will Barton. The last time he shot above 50% in a game was December 9th, so a month ago. And from December 1st on, that's the only time he shot above 50% in a game. So his efficiency, it just has not been there. The quality of shots that he's getting is awful right now, I feel like. If he's taking a 3, I still feel okay about Will
Sure.
Barton shooting threes.
Sure.
But when he's getting into the rim and he's twisting and turning and trying to get these contested looks around the rim to go, he's not really getting foul calls, and he's missing those shots, it feels like, every time.
The efficiency is not there, but the inconsistency is very much there. Like
Consistently inconsistent.
He's consistently inconsistent. Like that really is what's standing out. Like he dribbles the air out of the ball like every single time. It just feels like he over dribbles a lot where the defense is able to catch up, or where he's second guessing if he should make the pass to Jokic. To his credit, I think that he gets the ball to Jokic maybe better than everyone else, especially in those situations. So I felt comfortable with him, making those decisions late in the game to get Jokic the ball. But there's always that point where I'm like, hey, Will Barton is playing really good. And then I was like, I know what's coming next.
Yeah.
And it comes every single time.
movie.
I've seen this move every single time, and he had that in this game where it was like, okay, you got to take Barton out because he's really pressing. He's really trying to do too much. I think he gets in his own head when he's playing well, where he's like, I'm going to just keep this up. I'm going to win them over again. And it's like, no. Go back to being calm. Like you're doing things well right now. Don't get to the point where you're going to just overplay or overdo it, and a lot of times he overdoes it.
Please.
I was gonna say, like, he started off great.
Yeah.
Let me qualify this. He stole the first basket from Jokic, as far as I'm concerned.
Son of a gun.
Did it? He made a 3-pointer.
Well, he
It looked
also,
great.
if you remember, he also
Yes.
had a great first quarter against Sacramento the other night,
Yeah.
too, and then didn't do anything the rest of the game.
He started off great, hitting shots. Nobody else was hitting shots. And the Nuggets were fired out of a cannon. A lot of that was Barton. But
Yeah,
then
he was great in the first quarter.
But while it was happening, we were like, I cannot wait to see what he does to infuriate the internet, because right now it's going
It'll come.
great. But it's coming, and I can't wait to see what it is.
You know what's funny, too, is I really thought it was just the third quarter was his undoing tonight, in which he was heavily featured in those starters sucking.
They did suck.
I liked his approach in the second quarter. He got really hot in the first quarter, and he was moving the ball. He was passing the ball. Two things to be... By the way, I don't think he played well, but just to focus on some of the positives, he did this well in the Sacramento game. We saw a little bit of it tonight. I like the drive and dish, right?
Yeah.
Finding JaMychal, and that's fine because the Nuggets don't have anyone who's willing to drive and collapse the defense.
That, he did that too. He got Gordon his best dunk tonight by driving in deep, wrapping around, slinging it out to him. Gordon was then also doing the thing we wanted to do, which is drive to the basket.
But you do just want someone to get in his ear and be like, hey, great first quarter. Now focus on the other stuff for three. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like all of these performances would look much better. But the efficiency, it does feel like he's reaching for everything right now.
I'm just looking at Barton's game log from the beginning of the season. 8 of 14 against the Suns. 5 of 9 against the Cavs. 9 of 16 against the Jazz. 7 of 12 against Dallas. I wonder if, over the past month or so, he's looked at the talent around him and he's like, look, I got to do more. I got to look to be that guy more. And I can see why he's thinking that way.
Sure.
And in a way, he's right, but it just feels like he's overdoing it right now. And it's been that way for a bit. The other two guys we got to talk about, and I think we can talk about them together, Bones Highland and Davon Reed. We'll talk about Davon Reed getting a two-way contract, too, because we talked about that a little in the pregame, didn't have a lot of time for it, but Bones, he was questionable coming into the game today, gets cleared to play before tip-off this afternoon. He flew to OKC, apparently, today to meet the team, and he just did not have it tonight. And that was obvious from the first possession he was on the floor for, but he finishes 0 of 5 from the field, 0 of 3 from 3, 0 assists, 1 turnover, 9 minutes. He got benched in the second half for Davon Reed, and like you talked about pregame, Eric, a bit of a predictable game from Bones.
Yeah, man.
One good game, one bad game.
Freaking Bones, man.
No.
Like, I am ready to devote my life to Bones. I'm ready to give him anything he asks for.
Wow, do you have the ring yet?
I don't want to talk about it. Let's just say that I've made some purchases. But, like, then Bones has nights where you're like, Bones, can you just stop being a rookie? Is it possible? Can you just stop being a goddamn rookie? Can you get stronger? Can you make better decisions? Or can you just catch on fire shooting the ball? Like, it's so funny. Like when Bones is going, he seems like he is 2 feet taller than he actually is. And on nights like tonight, he looks like a little wee baby amongst a bunch of trees.
You like that, Dev?
You just can't get anything going, dude. Like everyone blocks him. He just makes bad choices. Bones, don't make me return this ring. I won't do it, but I'll wait for you.
Bones was benched in this game.
Yep.
Like he really was benched. Which I think that's a shocker within itself because we know how much Malone loves to have Bones on the floor, but Bones didn't have it. He just didn't have it in the game on either end of the floor. I felt like OKC did a really good job of going at him. Like I feel like guys was putting them in the post, guys were trying to score on them, and then on the other end, Bones kind of has this like confidence complex where he's like, I'm going to go back at you. And right now his shot's not falling, so everything else seems to be down. Like he's a player of confidence. And when things are well, it's really well. When things are bad, it's super low. He didn't make any type of baskets, and he's the second unit's scorer. He's the guy that they rely on. So when he doesn't have it going, they have to look for other guys to score. So like, even though he's a rookie, there's a lot that is like expected of him every single night. That's why
I expect it.
That's why it can't be those inconsistencies. That's why it can't be nights where he just can't get going or score in any way. So just got to find like a rhythm for him.
Yeah. It's all about rhythm.
I think that's the key word. And again, I'm always at risk of belaboring the point because we talked about the Nuggets 5 days a week.
Yeah,
but,
I don't talk.
Hard not to repeat
Anytime
yourself.
you don't see me, I'm not talking. So every time I'm here, we're talking. And
All your talking is done on camera.
and it's about the Nuggets. That's all I talk about.
But I do
too.
think someone in the comments just said, can't go too hard on Bones yet. From COVID to ankle, he hasn't been in the rotation. That's really it for me. Just the in and out, the in and out, the in and out. So I'm not surprised by a lack of rhythm. I'm not. That's tough.
I want to say a lot of Bones' struggles today probably had to do with his travel plans,
and also just that he's a rookie, man. Like there are just gonna be some games where he doesn't look very good.
Yeah.
To me, it's defensively defensively it's really bad. But hey, I think we all prepared ourselves for that anyway.
Yeah.
I want to hit Davon Reed as well, but let's hit a break first, and then we'll get to the newest two-way player on the Denver
Adam
Nuggets.
Mares.
No.
By the way, I agree with Danny D there. A win is a win. If we learn anything this year,
A win is a win.
It's to take them as they come.
Not take them when you can.
Lightshade Dispensary, Colorado's premier dispensary. They've got 10 Colorado locations, soon to be 11. And you can also shop online. How convenient is that? We want to talk to you about Escape Artists. That's a brand that you can find at any Lightshade Dispensary location, and they're the highest awarded topical brand in Colorado. They prioritize quality and consistency. They've got ratios in 1-to-1, 20-to-1, 800 to 800 for psychos.
Wow.
They've got creams that penetrate for deep muscle tissue discomfort, non-greasy, non-staining, fast absorbing. This is one of the industry standards for topical marijuana brands. So check it out at Lightshade Dispensary. And whether you're buying Escape Artists or just some traditional flower, that old school grass, Eric,
hell
make sure
yeah,
you
dude.
use code DNVR, get 25% off. Not your first purchase, but each purchase.
No one rides for free, but they get 25% off.
25% off.
We good?
We're it. Just one today.
Wow. I believe we've got some super chats percolating in the comment section.
Percolate. Nice wind.
Let's brew them up.
Jack Bailey. The Nuggets might be the most bipolar team in the history of professional sports.
Jack is correct.
I know.
It's a bold claim, but he might be onto something.
And that includes, teams that actually had bipolar players like Ron Artest on them. We have stolen that mantle. So suck on that, Meta.
Thanks, Jack. Definitely appreciate that. What else do we got here? Nick Trumbo says, anyone notice Barton struggles so much to hit Jokic on the pick and roll? Only seems to hit him on the pop. Always way too late. Shows how good Jamal was at it.
I disagree with this. I think the issue is they don't go to that enough. I actually like Barton's ability to get Jokic the ball in the pick and roll. I just think that they don't run that action enough when things get tight. But that's just what do you think, Dev? Let's toss it to Dev.
I think that you really actually nailed that.
Thanks, Dev.
Oh.
I think you did so good at that. I have no response to that because you did so damn good.
Thanks, Will.
I don't think Dev was listening to what you said.
I don't think so.
My
either.
response to this super chat is I agree that it does show you how good Jamal was at it.
It's crazy.
That's what I agree with.
Jamal is great at it.
Jamal is so good at that pocket pass. So good.
That answer was perfect. It's the end.
Such a good answer.
Let's see. Intense unboxing. Assistant coach Popeye Jones should be assigned in rotation. Substituting more than 2 guys at a time should be better than gang substitution. Why is Malone bad at rotations?
I didn't think they did.
Rotation Twitter checking in here.
I didn't think they did the hockey thing tonight, did they?
No, they didn't.
No, they staggered,
They
but
staggered.
Although,
That is Malone's MO, though.
if I can bring up a rotation quibble that I had tonight.
please.
I know that you guys always invite my rotation.
Always
thoughts.
down for some rotation talk.
Can't get enough.
Mentioned it earlier, mentioned it again. Down the stretch, Facu, Rivers, Jeff Green, Jokic, Aaron Gordon, or maybe Barton was in there.
it was
Anyway,
Aaron Gordon.
it was 5 players that didn't play together at any other point during the night, and they were put together at the most high leverage moment of the game and stuck with for a while. And it was so perplexing to me why, if not like just worrying about one player over another player, just why don't you have guys that were playing together previously that had some sort of like synergy? Very strange, but I did notice that we won.
Yeah, we did get the win.
Yeah.
We did. Do we have any more? Is that it? I think that is it.
Oh, we have a super sticker? Hell yeah. Sheba
Sheba
Dog
Dog.
saying good job while raising his thumbs up. Let's go. Dude,
Yes.
no super sticker has ever encapsulated our vibe more succinctly than Sheba Dog putting a thumbs up.
I love it. Thank you guys so much for the super chats as always. I think we're planning on talking to Adam Mares sometime soon, about what the Nuggets had to say after this one. Haven't heard from him, so
Does
hopefully.
Adam know that? Yeah, we'll see.
Like I was saying before the break, real quick, before we go to Around the Association, I want to hit on Davon Reed real quick because the one transaction that has actually become official is that Davon Reed is now on a 2-way contract. Peter Corneli, God help him, back to France, cut, waived.
You know
But
he's back to France.
probably.
Maybe he loved Denver so much. Maybe he's going to make this his
You think
permanent home.
maybe he loved Grand Rapids so much? He's
Got him.
just setting up shop in Grand
Oh, yeah.
Rapids?
He's got a
Well, he
place
was
in
also in
Lakewood.
Denver for some time.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Dude.
Right.
Peter Corneli. I mean, the story of Peter Corneli is one that started years and years ago.
It really did.
He was
It's a
drafted
long and winding tale.
the long and
Surprisingly
winding road.
uneventful.
I do think that he would have been more likely to stay if he would have had the missing E in his name. Peter. Instead
Well,
of
his name's not
Petter.
actually Peter. It's Pet. It's Pet. Pet Connolly.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Why have we been calling him Peter?
Because we're not French, guys.
Oh.
Because we see his name
Who's
and we
not
say,
French?
Yeah, what?
Dev is Serbian and French.
I do
Everybody knows
forget that you are Mr. Worldwide.
Everybody. I'm everything, actually.
And shout out, by the way, quickly, to Keith West, super fan, came up here on Friday, asked if I would give him a shout out. I just did that. Fully interrupted the show to do it.
Keith.
You're welcome.
Keith,
Let's go.
the least
our boy.
sexually attractive name in the history of names.
Well,
Keith.
then, if that's the case, then Keith
That's a
needs to-
Family Guy
Keith
joke,
needs to
not my
change
joke.
his name because then that does not match. That is a sexy, sexy man.
Seriously though, Davon Reed on a 2-way deal. Do you like it?
Yeah, you have to, right? My question would be, and I'm not trying to rag because these guys had a rough week. Like, what was the point of the Peter Corneli 2-way? You know,
So it's a valid question.
It is. It
because
did-
he did not look good all season in the G League.
and even Marcus Howard, you could say like, all right, well, we've seen something, right? Maybe you don't personally love this, but he's contributed at the NBA level. With Peter, there was no, there was really no reason. There was an upside either, right? And he didn't seem
Yeah.
playable yet at the moment. So maybe a goodwill play. Obviously, they did draft him. But it was sort of like, why not sign Davon Reed to this contract in the first place?
My read would probably be not Davon Reed. My read on the situation.
My read would be Davon.
I think there's probably a couple components. One of them might have been, look, we're entering this season without a backup center.
Sure.
Peter Corneli is a backup center. He's not, your traditional rim protector, but 6'11". He's athletic. Showed some stuff in France last year. Maybe he can be, a backup that we play 10 minutes a game. Not this year, but next year. Maybe we can mature him and ramp him up to that. My other indication is he was a prospect in the Nuggets system. They drafted him at one point in the second round. He improved to where he was a pretty good player in France last season. They wanted to reward that and brought him over because of that. Those are my two reasons I think it could have been.
And we are far more concerned about two-way slots than we probably would have been in a different timeline.
Us covering the Nuggets, we care way more about two ways than 99% of media people covering the rest of the league.
And in previous years, we would never talk about them.
Yeah.
Now,
because the team was there.
I know. Now all we talk about is the last three guys on the bench.
Exactly.
Because it's this the goddamn year. Everyone's out. You actually have to rely on guys that you don't, whose names I can't remember already. And it just is a revolving doors of guys. So it is crazy. In the end, it all works out. I liked the story of Piet Cornelet. I wanted it to work out. I like the idea that we draft somebody.
You can say Peter. I used Google Translate once. I don't know if that's how it.
Yeah, you really threw me off with that. I feel like
that's a bombshell that you just dropped.
Absolute bombshell.
Also, PETR is Czech, not French. So my bad.
Wow, another bombshell. Just Brendan Vogt dropping bombshells.
Vote
My lord.
With Davon Reed.
Do you have anything else?
That's all
He got his hands behind his head.
Wow.
With Davon Reed, I don't think that this was a good game for him. And also it's alluding back to what Adam had actually brought up a couple of games ago, where he does take some tough shots that we did not see early on. I can't remember the last time we spoke glowingly about Davon Reed. Not to say that he's playing bad, because he's only playing 8 minutes in the game. But right now he's starting to look more like a two-way player. So it makes sense that he's on the actual contract. But I think it was a good day, for him to not have to figure out two ways every single time, or the team not to have to figure out if they're going to have him or not.
Or someone's going to poach him.
Yeah, so he worked super hard for this moment. I'm glad that he got it to pay off for him.
Yeah. A lot of people asked me today why the Nuggets went with Davon Reed over Lance Stevenson, because Lance Stevenson's been blowing up with Indiana. And Davon Reed's had some good games with Denver, but hasn't had, that maybe one signature game yet. And I think a reason, actually, is that Davon Reed was eligible for a two-way deal. Lance Stevenson was not, you can only give a two-way deal to guys who have played for 3 years or less. And Davon Reed's played for 3 seasons. This is his third. And Lance Stevenson has obviously played more than that, so it's not like he was eligible for a two-way deal. And I bet Denver was looking at it and saying, all right, let's get, him on a 10-day, and then maybe a two-way is going to happen down the line. So I think that was a reason as well.
That makes sense. And he had 2 or 3 pretty important steals in this game. Davon Reed did.
Yeah,
he came in and he
got in and did the exact things that landed him a two-way deal.
Exactly. I in my heart believe that Lance Stevenson and Austin Rivers are at their heart the same player. I think that Lance Stevenson is coming in, he's heating it up, but there's going to be some moment where they're like, oh, right.
Davon
Lance
Reed
is making us dance out of this lineup.
The Nuggets have Davon Reed now because I think they have an idea that he's going to be on this team for a couple years. Lance Stevenson, I don't think Denver necessarily put him on their G League team with the hope that he's going to be a player for the Nuggets down the line.
He's playing well, though.
He is playing well. He is playing well. He could definitely help the Nuggets right now, but I think
also, so does Reed's perimeter defense.
Yes.
We don't need to go so far, and people loved that pickup as well when it happened. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Should we go around the association?
Have a good night, Patrick. I know that's your cue.
Let's go around the association, guys.
Let's freaking go.
I want to start with the Mavericks and Bulls. And Kale, I sent you a tweet that we should pull up on the screen. It's not a good tweet. I'm not happy about it. But this was Jalen Brunson after tonight's game. He was asked about the vibes, and he said they're immaculate. I want the Mavs in a playoff series so badly right now.
Dude, we wanted the Immaculate last year.
We need the Mavs in a playoff series.
The only thing is that we would be literally playing for Vibes, the owner of Vibes. We could surrender Vibes forever.
There would be a lot at risk in that series.
The most we'd ever. What's the most you've ever lost on a coin flip?
A Western Conference Finals is the most the Nuggets have lost in the playoff series. But losing the vibe
forever
would be potentially more consequential.
You fold up the franchise.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know what I would do without vibes. And I'm full of them.
Here's the other thing. Have the vibes ever really been immaculate in Dallas? I mean, I know they've won some games.
No, they
Defense
don't. They don't even know what immaculate vibes are.
That's not a
I feel
vibey
bad
team.
for them, to be honest.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Make them win.
Great. But the Mavs did beat the Bulls tonight, 113-99. Jalen Brunson had a nice game.
Luka had 22, 14, and 14.
Yeah. You know what? We can go to Adam. We can get back to around the association after.
Oh yeah.
There he is.
Let's go around
coming
the Adam.
Coming to us from an isolation room somewhere.
I assume it's in his house, right?
What's going on, man? Can you hear us?
No, wait, we can't hear you.
Are you there now?
Yeah, there we go.
Right. Hey.
How's it going, man?
Good. How are you guys?
Doing good. Doing good. A win is a win.
A win is indeed a win.
What did Michael Malone have to say about this one?
Yeah, did you talk to the players?
Are you okay? Is everything all right?
Showed up.
Get off a bad phone call.
Is there a fire in your house?
I was just brought on here and then nothing. All right, I'll tell you guys what happened in the post-game pressers. Michael Malone, he talked to the media. He said, we get in trouble defensively when we ball watch. In the second half, we were great about that. Or in the first half, we were great about that. In the second half, not so much. Somebody asked him if Austin Rivers needed confidence, and I like this one. He said, I think we all need confidence.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, like everyone on earth just needs confidence. So
I like that.
Maybe he also called him the Bud Light player of the game, or maybe the El Mayor Tequila player of the game.
Yeah.
Malone just doing altitudes work for them right now.
He really is.
He's the entire marketing department at Altitude.
That's like one of those things you're like, that's funny. Is it racist?
Nobody had that thought except you.
That's you. He said about Austin Rivers was the defensive player of the game.
Wow, back to back.
But then he thought, he was the offensive player of the game too.
I guess
All
that's
around.
true as
This is
well.
MVP.
But he did mention this, and I feel like he was throwing it out just for you guys. He says, the big thing with Austin is sometimes he just needs to catch and shoot, which I thought was good. No hesitation.
No kidding.
Yeah, never jab step.
We agree.
He does say that teams are daring them to make shots right now, and that it is one of their big challenges right now is trying to figure out when guys are doubling Jokic so hard, how to take advantage of that. And he just, he seemed a little frustrated with it, but he just said it was a little bit of everything. Guys cutting, guys reacting, looking for that high-low, all of that stuff all in real time, and then being ready to shoot. And then, of course, he was asked about DeMarcus Cousins. He was asked pregame, and he did a nice job of saying, hey, I can't talk about that. In the postgame, he kind of said, like, this is how you guys know that this is a thing that's just going to happen. He says, if DeMarcus comes to Denver, I'd look forward to reconnecting with him. But credit to Tim Conley for continuing to find ways to make our team better. He's not content. He's always looking for new ways. So that was as far as he would go into tampering, though.
Yeah, it's. I think there was maybe some hope that the Cousins signing would be official by the time the game ended, but doesn't sound like it is.
So I don't think this will happen, but if they don't sign Cousins until Thursday, there's a chance that at the end of this 10-day we will see Boogie versus Bowl.
The Boogie Bowl?
Oh my God.
I just
Yes,
thought that was
Eric.
kind of
Yeah,
funny.
Boogie.
No, well, I think it's actually a good point because they go to L.A. and play the Clippers, and then they have the homestand. So if Cousins is in Denver meeting with Tim Connolly today, maybe he just stays in Denver, gets set up there, and then is available for the homestand starting Thursday. I don't know.
I also think you should be able to tamper on 10 days. Like, who cares?
Also, coaches can't tamper. It's not tampering. Only executives can tamper. Coaches talk about
true?
other players all the time.
That's true.
Well, Okay, it's a gray area nonetheless. Austin Rivers, guys, he got the podium game, of course, when you're the best offensive and defensive player. He talked about to be in the game at the end of the game as a player. That's what you want the most. Austin Rivers is so good at doing this, like doing these press conferences. He says, I'm a guy who loves pressure, and the pressure goes up at the end of games. That's when it's at its best. He did say his favorite play, he was asked this by Vic Lombardi on the court about that up and under. He said if he felt like he was 22 years old again. But on a serious point, he did say that his thumb has really been bothering him lately, ever since the Warriors game.
Yeah.
Okay.
His thumb?
Yeah, okay.
His thumb has been bothering him, and he says, it's really jacked up. He's trying to do the best job that he can. He was supposed to, this is crazy, he says he was supposed to sit out 4 to 6 weeks, but the team doesn't have bodies, so he just soldiered on. So allegedly this injury is bad enough that he should have been out. And
That's
really,
wild.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I think, honestly, it puts into context this whole season. Like, we talk about a lot of guys where they bank this or that. Like, I think a lot of guys would take a week off. I mean, Aaron Gordon, you guys talked about him, but my God, I mean, he looks like he definitely could use another week or two off. So that's just the state of the union with the team. I love this part. When he talked about getting a chance to close the game tonight after having a good game, he says, one thing you can say about Michael Malone is that he is fair. And I thought that was an interesting comment, just the fairness of him. And he says he trusts guys, and if you're having a good game, you're going to stay in there, you're going to close. So I thought that was nice.
You know who disagrees? Rodney McGruder's counterpart in the trade, Bull.
That's probably true. But that's why I thought it was so interesting that comment came today.
That's a good one.
He doesn't believe he needs confidence. He says, I've been playing too long to lose confidence in myself, which I thought was great. But then here's the money quote, you guys. And Austin Rivers, he knows what he's doing. I'm telling you, Austin Rivers, I love his post-game podiums, but the more I'm in him, the more I'm like, this is a guy that knows exactly what to say.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like he knows how to get the retweets, So here's what he says about Jokic. He sees the craziest defenses. I don't know who gets doubled like that. He mentioned Joel Embiid and him, the only two guys. As soon as he touches it, he has a swarm of guys around him, and he's got to make the right read every time. It's got to be incredibly hard. The big fella's the MVP. He does it every game.
Yeah.
So there's your money quote.
I mean, he's totally right. Like Jokic plays through so many double and triple teams, so many just arms flying everywhere, contact, getting fouled on every play. Like it's wild.
And he is the one player in the league that they're not allowed to call a foul for.
And he also touches the ball so many times, so having to make the right decision when you touch the ball so many times, like you're going to have mistakes, you're going to have turnovers and things like that. So, and also the defense, their whole priority is to stop you or to make your life difficult. So that's a great quote.
Yep.
Jokic spoke, didn't talk for too long. He said he thought the defense was really good tonight, especially in the first half. First half, he thought they were really good. Second half, he didn't feel like anybody moved. Got real stagnant. He was asked about double teams, and he said, yeah, today they doubled me. And just almost so casually, as if they don't double him every single night.
Dude, they triple you.
He was asked about JaMychal Green starting, and he said, quote, I love to play with him. And went on to say he's a great player, great guy, and made it sound as if he would actually prefer playing with J-Mike in the starting lineup. Take that. I'm putting that last part, those words in his mouth, but it's certainly, to me, you can go back and watch the tape if you want. It seemed to be implied that in his answer. So take that for whatever you will. Really loves J-Mike, man.
He loves
really
JaMychal. It's going to keep him in Denver.
I need a J-Mike visit the Sombor so badly next summer.
Oh, my God.
I just need that, man.
Dude, if JaMychal's agent is smart, that thing's in the works already.
Yes.
You get a lifetime deal.
True.
Yes.
I can't. JaMychal Green's going to be on a gel and beer commercial here very soon. I can't wait for it. They asked about how they could generate looks when everybody's attacking the paint, and he answered that he thought Facu attacking is their best bet. When he gets to the middle of the paint, he could find open guys. It's the easiest way to find open threes. So kind of interesting comment. You know how it is with Jokic. Sometimes you don't know how like if he was saying that's the only way to generate or what. It was a little bit confusing. He did say though that with J-Mike, rebounding is such a big part of our basketball culture, and he provides a lot of that. I did put. Alexander Zizic, we got to know he gets Serbian questions from time to time. Jokic gets asked one today, and as he gets asked it, he goes like this. I put it through the Google Translator. Do you guys want to hear what I Google Translate?
Yeah,
nope,
please.
Nope, move it along.
Okay, fine. That's the end of the
No, I want to hear it. I want to hear it. Don't listen to that guy.
Google Translate says the question was, "It's that yours is a communication with him." So yes, this is always good to have lots of years together. And then his answer is, "This one we understand each other, and this one should say easier when you know what that man's name is, ready for any situation that a game can bring in your play."
Hell yeah.
Is he talking about Malone?
Eric was right. That was not worth reading off.
Is he talking about like his wife, his horse,
I
Malone?
honestly thought maybe it was about JaMychal Green.
I think it's JaMychal Green, yeah.
I think it was about J-Mike and yeah, I don't know.
Oh, did Jokic do this when PR said his name? Because sometimes he gives them a hard time about their inability to say Alexander's name.
Yeah, yes, correct.
That's what it was
Yeah.
then.
Right
That's
about
what it.
that.
When you
Right.
see those visible reactions, he's reacting to Denver PR butchering the name.
There you go. Yeah, he was very unimpressed apparently. So that's it from today. Everybody seemed in good spirits. Nuggets got an ugly win. I don't know what a pretty win looks like.
That's a good point. I don't remember.
Not many of us. I mean, maybe Sacramento was as pretty of a win as we can expect, and that was far from pretty.
No.
Dude, we're garbage people now.
Yeah.
Like we eat garbage and we live in it, and so pretty wins aren't for us.
Yeah. Thank you, Adam.
Feel better,
Great
man.
silhouette of him there.
Yeah, man. Is he setting the light to hostage setting or what? Like, what's?
Yeah, I think he wants people to feel sad for him or something like that. Because I'm looking
Yeah.
at that and I'm like, what's going on here,
Yeah.
man? Like,
Can you, just as a favor to the four of us here on set, no one feel bad for Adam.
yeah, don't do that.
What I'm excited about, based on what Adam said there, maybe this is a little bit of a litmus test for how much pull Jokic has in terms of lineups and whatnot. Because if Malone goes to Jokic and he's like, "What do you think about moving Jeff Green back into the starting lineup?" and Jokic is like, "No, I like playing with JaMychal."
Yeah.
I wonder if it's JaMychal. I'm kind of excited to see what happens.
I think that Jokic is such an unselfish player that he's like, what do you think works best, or how do we get this guy going? So I think it's more so JaMychal Green hasn't been working in that second unit, and he probably asked why, or he understands why, and he's like, okay, let's put him with the starters and give a different look. So I think
Right.
that's just the type of player that Jokic is. And, like there's other, divas around the league. He's not one of those. So he's going to do what's right for the team.
Yeah. We've gone long. We're well over an hour, so I think we should probably wrap up unless
What? There's one around the association point.
All right,
there
good.
is.
Tell us
Okay,
which one.
let's
Tell us
do it
about
an
Jason
abbreviated
Tatum's-
around the association.
Klay Thompson is
Abbreviated.
back. He had probably the coolest return I've ever seen. I've never really seen an entire community
Jamal Murray watched it, I heard.
over his own team. But in all seriousness, like the Warriors,
I would
showing
have
up
watched
and-
Klay Thompson's return over
I
that
wish I
third quarter
could,
as well.
kind of. The whole Warriors showing up in Klay Thompson jerseys. Draymond gets the start just to be on the court with him, even though he couldn't go tonight. Just a really cool moment. By the way, Klay has 17 points, 7 of 16 shooting,
He came back as a gunner. I love it.
16 shots in 19
You
minutes.
gotta
love it.
respect it.
Gotta
He's
respect
back.
And the Warriors are probably going to beat the Cavs. Warriors are going to be really good. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, the Warriors are going to win the NBA championship. We're all wasting our time. Let's go.
Oh, there are other good teams, but they're one of them.
Yeah. All right, guys. Hell of a show. Good
Hell of
job,
a show.
everyone.
Hell of a show.
Good job, guys.
What was the difference tonight?
I had to put my finger on it. Oh, you know what it was? We had Kale instead of Allie producing.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
what
that's
it was.
it.
That's
yeah.
right. And
That's the one.
there's leftover sexy pizza, which just
I'm
makes the
looking
whole
it up.
room better.
I could go for some leftover sexy pizza. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Take it easy.